Hello, welcome to my channel. My name is Lisa, and today I am so excited to show you my newest freebie that is available on my Ko-fi account right now. Link below. But before you go and click a link, let me show it to you. All right, here they are. Pretty simple looking, right? Nothing too exciting. But these are individual labels that we can then take and put additional stamps on and cut them out and have pre-made strips. I've made 6 of them, I believe. Yes, I think it's 6 of them. All different varieties. And some grungy, some not so grungy, just fun. So I'm going to start the video off that I really loved making these. And I hope you love them too. And if you want to see more of them, I'm willing to make like a collection number 2. And just leave comment below of what you, after you see these, what you might want me to add, create, do something different. I'm up for anything. I said I probably could have made, 50 of these, but I thought I'm going to get 6 out there. I'm going to play with them, and then we'll go from there. All right. So the first one, fairly light, a little bit of swirl, a little bit of grunge. And as you can see, like each little square or rectangle is going to be completely different, and then it'll be even more different when we stamp on them. Not that you have to stamp on them. You could definitely cut these out, tear them out, use them as your own decoration. I did separate them like labels so that when we go, I'm going to go and stamp them, that it'll have a little bit of a separation for them and give them a little bit more definition instead of just, I mean, I could have had printed a sheet out and then stamped it and then cut it from there. But I thought this was going to be a good way to do it. You can also section off and do, if you want some tall ones, stamp them that way. If you want some long ones, stamp them that way, etc. So that is the first one. Here is the second one. Now the second one is a little bit more detailed. There's some stamping of writing in the back. There's like a ledger behind some of this. There is some music notes over here. There is like a header of a invoice over here with some more writing. I've got a couple of subtle water stains, coffee stains on there. So, if you want this one, they've got music. If you want this one, it's just ledger. If you want this one, it's got some words and some coffee. This one has some fun script. So just a whole variety, but on one sheet. All right, the next one is very similar to those. It has a green version. I decided to do green on this one. Spring, looking out my window. This reminds me of the grass right now. Greens and yellows, browns right now. So it's very reminiscent to the time. And again, do them up and down, sideways. Another header over here. More tiny little script in the background. Like a shadow of a stamp over there. Just a whole bunch of stuff. Just kind of embedded, buried in there. Looks like a stamp that's been charted. Barcode lines. Just a whole variety. Some music over there. Just again, different. All right, so the next one is similar to those, but this has more of a reddish, yellowish tone to it. A little bit heavier with the inking on it. A lot of these probably could be just used straight out. A little stamp medallion over here. Again, words. You can see where I had put like a label underneath there, but it's split onto a couple of them. Just fun. All right, so the next ones are ones that I create on my own, playing with a paint program that I have. And this is just swirls of watercolor, pastel watercolors. And I had never played with the program, so it's just really experimenting. Like these swirls aren't maybe great for a watercolor, but then when you go and break them down into their own little squares, like how pretty they look. A little green and yellow, hint of purple. Several colors over there. Like this one is almost all green. This one's got peach and purples. Just very fun, very spring, very Easter, if you need to make, some sort of Easter labels. So after I did this and kind of gotten not used to playing with it, but was getting a little bit better on it, I made this one. Like what a difference, right? From that to that, from that to that. And you can see what I did here when I was playing with this. These were like all the colors. This one I decided to do 2 versions. So you've got the blues and the cool colors, and then you've got the yellows and oranges for the warmer colors. You have 2 sets of stamps, 2 different processes. This is again my watercolor fun stuff, but did a little more splotching, a little bit more just played with some of the little, they call brushes in this paint program. And a lot of you might be very familiar with those. I was not. So this was totally just me taking, and I don't even have one of those pens. I used to have one of those iPad pens that worked on my old iPad, and it doesn't work on my new one, or it doesn't work, I'm not sure. And so it's my finger drawing stuff. So not very efficient, but I definitely had fun doing it. So with that said, again, if you, oh, I wanted to say something too. These are all printed on paper, except for this one. I printed on sticker sheets, labels. Now I've mentioned this before, how much fun it is to have sticker sheets, because those videos I did before where I had to print on a sheet to make your own rub-on stickers. And a lot of people, you know, commented saying that they don't have sticker sheets. I said you can find them certain places. But I did a little bit of research because it's been a while since I bought these. I buy these to mail stuff out. And it's probably hard to tell, but there is a split in here. Peel it back a little. I don't want to peel it back too hard. There's a split in here because this is like one side is the address, the other side, 2 address labels. You can find on Amazon, I was looking it up just real quick, and I probably could have delved deeper. There was a pack of 100 of these 2-sided shipping labels for $9.95. For 100 sheets for $9.95. So they're, what, 10 cents each? So pretty realistic, pretty good price for them. And so twofold, if you were ever looking for sheets to do those projects that I've used these for, and I've had a couple of them for ink transfers and things like that. And I even use them as glue sheets. You know, you're gluing stuff down, and for that. So they're pretty versatile for that. But if you're looking for printing your own sticker labels, I do know, like, if you go buy the Avery sheets, you know, you get like 10 of them for 20 bucks. I mean, I might be way exaggerating them, but they're expensive. They're not cheap. You get a full-size sheet of sticker paper. But like I said, this is half sheets. So you have to kind of be careful, because occasionally, if you want to print something on sticker sheets, the way it's laid out, some of the labels might cross over these center lines and are not the best for that. But I think it's still doable. You might lose a couple stickers in there, or even just cut them out and then just put them together 2 and 2. I've done that. But for these freebies that I have set them up so that it is printing, and it should go straight down the middle where that line is, so you get half and half. I only printed one on a sticker sheet. The rest I did print on picture paper. And the other thing I thought of that you could do is, if you got the clear sticker sheets, like you're printing the boo-boo tape, these would be fun on there too, I'm guessing, because they'd be a little bit clear. So if you got those, I could print those. You could print those on that regular paper or sticker paper. But I wanted to digress about the sticker sheets. So if I think of it, I will link that also below. The ones that I saw that were $9.95. That's not the ones that I've got, because I buy them 1,000 at a time since I'm shipping stuff out. So I'm sure that's not realistic for most people. But to buy 100 for $10 seem realistic to me. So it's probably not the same brand I use, but they're had like 4.5 stars. So I digress. All right, so let us play with some of these, and I'm going to get some stamps out, and we're just going to stamp them. Then I'm going to cut them out and show you what they look like when they're done. All right, hopefully you got a chance to print some of these out, because they're going to be fun to play with. And I have gathered together some of my supplies that I like to play with. I have 2 Destruct Oxides, Ground Espresso, Vintage Photo. I have my Versafine Clair in a Morning Mist, which is not the solid black. And I've got my trusty Scripty stamp, which I think would be fun on this. I've got my smaller Scripties here, and a little bit of more grungy dots. And then I've also pulled together my kind of tidbit ones, where I have got these stamps, the Curator, which got the little tags, and then this version, the tidbits, which I have a feeling I'll probably use a lot of those. And I also pulled out my bucket of my other Tim Holtz stamps that I have put together in one container. So they're all meshed together, but they are the infamous correspondence, and I had to pause and look it up for a second. It's correspondence, eccentric, and field notes. they were falling apart, so I ended up putting them all together in one bag. I just have the tinier ones in a little bag, and I got the bigger ones down here, so I'll probably be using those, as well as my new stamps that I got, the ornate trims. I thought those would be kind of fun to do across a couple layers. So lots of fun stuff to play with. We'll put those to the side for now, and I'm going to start with a bit of a background, but I need to find my squishiness. There we go. So that I can squish it down a little bit. All right, let's go. Let's go that way. All right, so I think I'm going to start with a little bit of some scripty letters. Now, if you wanted to cut these out and have them just sitting in a bag and then decorate them as you go, that is an option. But in my mind, even though, like I said, these have lines on it, I have thought that I would just do these. And once it got cut out, see, they're going to be in between and not be as noticeable. That some stop and some go. Do a little bit of the darker. And again, this doesn't matter. I'll do a little bit darker over here because it is a little bit darker. And it doesn't necessarily matter which way it goes because they are all going to be individually cut out. Right? Fun. All right, so let's say we're going to do more of those. Let's do that one. And just put them on there like that. And again, so these are going to be all just kind of cut out and separate themselves into different spots. Okay, now here's where the fun comes. Let's take some of these and let's go for there. Now I'm thinking that a couple of them, you just put the stamp on directly, and maybe some of them you split up so they get put on their own little way. And it doesn't matter that some are here, they're all in the same spot because, again, they are going to be cut up into little individual things. Now with the brighter ones, is that upside down? No. The ones that are my pastel ones, if I wanted to, switch it up and use some, gotta get that off of there. Use some of my brighter colors. That is definitely something that can be done. So you could see, you could just have a ton of fun doing these. All right, let's get some field notes. Field label. There we go. Had to clean off the back. Got a little, feels like it gets a little sandy, it seems like. I don't know if it's dust or whatever, but it doesn't want to stick as well to the blocks. And then if it's not sticking to the block very well, then you have a chance for it to fall off. All right. Now, you could also, like I said, we can cut these out later, and then when you're going to put it onto something, you could then add some more stamps to it. All right, let's see if we can get a couple of these on here, because I think these would be fun going across. Still haven't pulled them all out, so I still got that issue of these weird strings in between. That rubber is strong. There we go. Okay, let's ink this one up. And I think I'm going to be a little bit more. I wore black sleeves today because I knew I was going to be inking. I'm telling you, I don't know what to wear anymore around here lately. It is such a yo-yo. It is like 40s, 50s today, and it's going to rain. And same with tomorrow, I think high 50s and then rain. And then the next day, it's supposed to drop into the 20s and snow. And then the next day is still the 20s. And then the next day, I think it's supposed to go up to 60s. Like, could it make up its mind? Probably should have done this first. I got a couple of them. Go across that way. So we got a little bit on each one. Very cute. I like it. I will definitely do those again. But I'm going to stop with this one because, like I said, I probably should have did it first. Because it's hard to go across a couple labels when you've got a bigger thing and there's already stuff on there. Okay. All right, let's do one of these little square stamps. And I think, like I said, kind of going any way you go. Flipping some of these around, probably not the worst thing in the world, because then you can put it any which direction. Let's do a little model 1907. And this might end up being the end. Because I do think there's a point where you could overdo it a little bit. And like I said, you can always go back if you cut one out and you realize, oh, this doesn't have as much stuff as I would like on there, that maybe you go back and add something to it. Okay. All right. So I'm going to close my lids up here because, again, black sleeves, but still. And I'm going to pause the video and cut these out so we can see what they look like when they're all cut apart. So I'll be right back. All right, they are all cut out. And let me tell you, fun, fun, fun. So like that was stamped together, but now there's two separate ones. So that one's very cool. Field, little label. It's got that strip ornate trim on top there, very cool. So this is the opposite side. Ornate trim, the other side label. Very useful for both of them. Like, look how that cool came out. A little number on the side, little writing. This probably the opposite. Yep, maybe. Oh no, it's the same stamp. Different spots. Label, got the trim on there, got the box score on the side, and then just, you know, simple ones with hardly anything. Ornate trim, little number, some script. Like I said, you could add something else to that. Very fun. The half circles, the letters in the circles. I mean, you could see them. Fun stamps, definitely, or labels that you can use. So make your own labels. How fun is that? And they're perfectly grunged in the background. I did forget to mention as I was cutting them out, and it's probably hard to tell, but I did put a very thin brownish line on there to so when you go to cut it out, and if you miss it like I did here, you can always go back and put some ink on it and finish it off. And now you can't even tell that there was a miscut for it, because it's easy to miscut. I cut a lot of it on my trimmer here because they are straight lines, so I could get a lot of it done. But when you get close to the small ends, some of them I had to hand trim at the end, but it really didn't take too long to go ahead and cut these. So I was thinking, and I just see that I missed one over here. I missed this end over here, so we're going to just trim that down. I mean, I probably could have missed another one, but you can always get that later. So I'm going to collect these up, and I'm thinking the next one I want to do is this one, and get some colored ink. So do some, reds and orange stamps on this side, do some blue, greens, and purples on that side, and make two different styles of stamps. So I think I'm going to do this one next after I clean this up. So if you want to see me make these, hang on, and we're going to go ahead and make one more set. All right, I am back with my archival inks, and I decided to cut it in half so that I could stamp the one side and the other side separately, so I didn't accidentally want to take a blue stamp and overlap it. So we might as well just start with those. I'm gonna put these away temporarily. Now I just decided to use the archivals for no particular reason. I could use my distress inks with it, but yeah, it was just that. All right, so I'm going to start with the words, because I just love those words as a background, and we're just gonna go in for it. Try a little Salvage Patina. Now I do have my bigger ink pads that probably would have worked better with this, but if I don't get the whole thing, that'll probably just lead to the randomness that I want anyway. Yeah, you can barely see it on there, but that's okay. All right, so we're just going to put some in this corner and do that corner. Don't have to do all of them, and I do have my smaller word stamps. That's a little crooked. That's okay. Yeah, very cool. All right. You are not too bad. I like Salvage Patina. Let's use a little purple, and let's get some. Sorry, I probably knocked the bejesus out of you. All right, so let's do, and it's kind of springy, so let's do this one. And the purple. There you are. So I mentioned it earlier, but I'm just say it again. Now that you've been maybe watching it and thinking, if there is anything you would like to see in some of these, maybe a color combination or some sort of style with anything on it, please feel free to leave a comment below of what you'd like to see. Because I would, like I said, I would be happy to make another set, set 2 or whatever they want to call it. Oop, this needs to go this way. For these, because I really had fun making them. All right, we go from there, and from there, we're gonna do it in purple, but I'm gonna stamp it off once and then stamp it off because it is a pretty bright color. stamp a little off. And we're gonna do that. And we're gonna do that. And we're gonna do that. All right, this florally, let's stop with the purple. And let me get a little green. Do a couple of these. And by all means, I mean, you can put anything on here. You don't have to, you know, Tim Holtz stamps just because this, I mean, you got any sort of butterflies or florals you wanted to do, by all means, that would be fun to do, right? Put that over there. And probably get my smaller stamp block out. I think it's probably buried though. I had it earlier. Yeah, not sure where it went to. All right, so a little sky blue. Let's see what sky blue looks like. Ooh, that's a pretty color. Yeah, that's a pretty color. All right, let's just do some straight out numbers. Let's try violet. Ooh, that's a pretty color. And it is definitely bright. Ooh, I'm loving this one. I am loving it. All right, let's use a little kind of ovally kind of one. And what about Mermaid Lagoon? Oh, yeah, that's very, very pretty color. I like that color a lot. Let's do something else with it. All right, let's do some numbers. Oh yeah. This stamp might have been a little bigger than I needed it to be. There we go. I didn't want it to go over that part, so blocked it off a little bit. All right, let's do a little stamp here. Yeah, all right, that might be just enough. I mean, again, like I said, I could go add stuff later if I wanted to, but those are very pretty. Can't wait to cut those out. All right, let's do the warm tones. All right, warm tones. And once again, we will start with this. And oh, let's get the cool tunes, the cool ones back. All right, a little fossilized amber. Oh, I like that. That's pretty. All right, we're gonna do a little bit this way. And I think we'll just go across. And voila. Yeah, not too bad. Okay, let's see. I don't know if I necessarily want a plain on there. It's a little maybe specific for what it ends up being, whereas you want more maybe generic things. Probably not the worst thing in the world. A little finest in the world. I can never go wrong with that. I always like that one. Crackling campfire. There we go. And I probably should put a little bit more background on a couple of those. So let's go with this one. And I think I will put a little vintage photo. There's a bit of a brownness to it. I also could have done my music notes, but all right, so let's do, and I forgot I wanted to do a strip, so we got a couple places we can put some strips down, and something that looks kind of sunny. All right, what about tea rose? Let's try that. I need to flip this around so I can see approximately where the line is. Oh yeah, that's nice. I like that. Oh no, which one's which? Oh, white lid, black lid. Okay, phew. Thank goodness they're different colors. All right, I think I'm going to do that across the bottom there. Because those look fun in that first one I did where it had it like the side of it. I think I'll do it across there. And I think I'm gonna, I got a little tea rose on there, but I think we can throw a little crackling campfire on there too. Just a tad darker, but I think it'll be okay. Yeah. And a little bit on this end here that I didn't use. Beautiful. All right. Yeah, I definitely got to figure out something better to do with these. They don't like to fit. Okay. All right, a little 785 and might have to break out some of my distressed because there's not in the archival as many of the lighter colors as I would like. So how about some wild honey? I didn't want to go too red on this. To, you know, really dominate the scenery. All right, what about a little calendar date? And let's go with, oh, I did spice marmalade already. Let's see what fired brick looks like. We have a couple duplicates. Oh, there's fire brick. This one doesn't look as dark though. Well, luckily that ended up going somewhere where it didn't really matter. All right, we're gonna split it down the middle there. And put half of it there. Beautiful. How about some circles? Let's do some circles. Let's try a little rusty hinge. Let's see what the rusty hinge is gonna do. Definitely adds a little bit of a subtle tone, that's for sure. I don't mind. Yeah, I like it. I like it. All right, I think I want to add a little bit of like coffee staining to this one. So I don't want to use too big of a one. Let's try that one. Just a little. All right, I had to track down my little block because this big one was just not cooperating for me. Yeah, I like it. I think I'm going to throw a little bit on here too. Yeah, I like it. Okay, I think that was a wise choice to throw that on there. Okay, I think I'm going to clean these stamps up because they are now in total disarray, and I'm going to cut these out and show you what they look like when they're cut out. I just want to show you these all together. Very fun. I'm looking forward to seeing what these look like, and then I think these are even better. So I'll be back. All right, these are all done. I'm so excited. Very fun. And I mean, I really like how these turned out. I mean, there's one that's more purple, one that's more green, and then you got one that's got like every color. So much fun. And then these guys, just beautiful colors, peaches and neutrals. And I do like that I did some of the more reds on here just to make them pop a little bit more. I'm not mad about them, but so much fun. Warm colors, cool colors. All right, well, I think that's gonna be it for this. I am gonna play with these at some point and get these all stamped up for future use. But for now, I think you have the idea, and hopefully you want to run out and grab yourself the freebie that is on my Ko-fi account, because these were fun to play with. Very excited to have these done. All right, well, and there's my neutral set. Stack them all up. Got to figure out where to put them. That's my big problem. Is where do I put them? I need to find an envelope or something. All right, well, that is going to be it for me today. I appreciate each and every one of you that has stopped by, and as usual, I hope you all have a wonderful and creative day. Bye for now.